I am the contrarian, and this is my world.
Hi, this is Rajiv Banduni from Growth Enabler. Tonight on the Contrarian Show, I'll be proving Rajiv wrong. We believe the future of growth, the future of enablement for startups is virtual. The advice that can be delivered anytime, anywhere for those who seek it most. We can deliver this advice through Growth Enabler platform anytime, anywhere.
We live in a world of startups. Every different kind of startup, a new business, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. But the difference between success and failure now is a very fine line. What can really take you to the other side? The difference between success and failure is a fine line. What lies on the other line? Is it just hard work, a good idea, content, the team? Some people say it's actually who you know, the mentor that can take you towards success. Can that entire model that for years and years has been all about literally, physically holding your hand and taking you towards the line of success, can that be changed to a virtual mentorship? Well, that's what we're about to discover. So let me find out from you. This is literally a virtual mentorship program that you're running. Why this idea? Just let's start from why did you even think about it?
When you look around where they can look at a guidance, a mentor, advice, there are a lot of things happening, a lot of things being talked about. You have accelerators, you have university programs, you have angels, you have mentors who are there to help these people. Are they enough? Can they deal with the wave of startups coming your way? If not, then what do you do? When you look at this problem more closely, then you realize that people who have access to community, reach, a little bit of money, connection, they do get some bit of this advice. But what happens to the balance? If you look at that infrastructure, it can cater to, our statistics says that it can cater to 5% of startup. The rest of the 95%, what do they do?
So exactly. So let's get down to that 95% that may not have access to all this. At some point, isn't this actually a solution in search of a problem rather than the other way around? It's not necessary that if there is such a huge problem of quantum, then taking it online, making it virtual, makes the quality of what you'll give better.
So I think the debate we are not trying to do is that can we ever replace you and I sitting having a big chat?
Right.
No, it can't. But when I was, planning and say we need to chat, actually, the first thing I did, I went to a YouTube and started looking at you. Or
that's the reason my online numbers went up very high right now. Okay.
So, that's an easier way for me to look at it, how you ask questions, what you do. In absence of that, what would I have done? Probably asked you, Rajiv, can I get 5 minutes with you? I want to know what you're going to do.
Right.
Okay. Or if I'm looking at a similar program, you interviewing somebody else, am I at home? I'm in Bangalore, I'm not in Delhi, I'm not sitting in your studio. What's the best way for me to look at those programs? I switch on the television, that gets beamed to me, and I hear what you're saying. That influences me.
Correct.
Am I not getting what you have in mind and the opinion you're going to have on me, or the influence you're going to have? Yeah, absolutely. I would love to chat with you, I love to spend time with you, but there is only one Rajiv, and there are thousands of people who need time with you.
What's the guarantee? Let's go back to me. Okay, what's the guarantee that the advice I have given to somebody actually helps their business and isn't the reason why their business collapses? You can't, the quality of the people that you get can be curated at one point.
That's right.
Right? So is there curation? Do you reach out to people or do people reach out to you?
Both ways.
Okay. So this is crowdsourced mentors?
Absolutely. It's like, look at Uber. They don't own a taxi, but they have taxi everywhere, right? We are doing the same thing. Advisors sitting in London.
So this is a mentor marketplace?
This is a mentor marketplace,
okay.
Yes. Somebody, a mentor, we know him, sitting in London, is available to advise in startup.
But if I go back to your example of Uber,
Yeah.
the very reason that it's not curated, I mean, it's curated only to the point of the vehicle and the driver to a certain extent, is the reasons why on a single daily basis, Uber has something that goes wrong in some country. And we've had the example here
Very
in
true.
India. So how can you, in a marketplace, guarantee quality?
To your question, what we have done is that exactly to solve that, we have created our 12 key decision metrics. And those key decision metrics is your way to navigate the puzzle of how to be a successful startup. Okay. So you start from one, you have an idea. We call it idea to business validation metrics. You go through that and then look at some of the 7 steps what we have created. And then we look at who's the best advisor who has done it and advised. We go through the profile, we talk to them, interview them. And what we also do is that enable them in a growth-enabled way to pass on that advice to someone. Okay. So this kind of due diligence is done by us. Why we can do it? You have to also look at our background. Actually, all 3 of us are ex-Gartner, come from a leadership position. We know how advice is delivered. We know how advice makes outcome. We know how an advice ensures that's an impact. So first thing, we created those processes. So you're absolutely right that if you just compare it, just an Uber model, yeah, there things can go wrong. And
is this worldwide or is this geographically centered? Are you better in some countries? What is the game plan here?
Because we are global, it's worldwide.
Okay.
Because it's available as a repository for anyone who have access to internet, you can access it from anywhere. You're traveling, you're holidaying, you have a time, you want to unwind, have a look at that video, 45 minutes, get access, just look at it and you can do it.
Okay. My last question, and this is a series of 2 or 3 quick fire questions.
Go ahead.
Okay. Startups doesn't have to be only technology, isn't only about mentorship. There are other things that are part of the success. Meeting the right people. If I'm a retailer, can I get through to the people who actually run malls? Can I get through to somebody who can actually fund me?
Yeah.
So do you do it all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But it's a complete circle. So if somebody from media who wants to start something, I'll probably lean on to you and say, look, can you join this mission and can somebody to seek an advice from you?
Okay.
Somebody that talked about the retail.
So is there a category that you would advise people, because after the show goes out, you will obviously get a lot of traffic there. Is there a category that you think isn't good for you or people to actually think they can come to you, or is there none?
There's none. They can come to anybody who's an entrepreneur, wants to start a business, entrepreneur or SMB leader. Can come to us and seek an advice, because our job is to ensure that any entrepreneur about any business should be able to get access to an advice that makes him or her successful.
Okay. So there isn't a category of business that you think we're not very good at right now. Maybe we will be in the future, nothing like that.
No, nothing.
So there are no stops on that
No.
part of it, right?
No,
okay.
absolutely not.
And of course, my last question, and this of course has to be a question. Why did it take you so long to get to this? Is there a reason? They say everything's about timing. Is the technology right? Is the expertise right? Or did you just think of it a little late? Because it seems like this is the kind of thing that should have happened about 7 or 8 years back rather than now. We're starting to see more startups fail in the last 4 or 5 years than successful, right?
True.
So why not something like this at that time when the momentum was very strong than now, where people seem to be now getting a little, taking it a little easier and thinking back again, I'd rather do a job?
The reason it took us late is because when all this was happening, there were a lot of accelerators, there are a lot of mentors, a lot of people, and I think a lot of time we covered ourselves with the blinkers, is that the focus was tech startup and said there is enough. And when we looked at it and getting into the problem, and he said, look, hang on a sec, it's not only about tech startup, it's about anybody who's starting a company. Whether you're creating an electric car or whether you're creating a sewage treatment plant in a
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be tech startup. It's not e-commerce only. It doesn't have to have the magic word of on demand, which is of course the new. It doesn't have to have the magic word of social. It doesn't matter what kind of business, what kind of category. Once the blinkers came off is when you actually thought that this works.
When we looked at the total statistics and say that this is huge, and the only way to solve is that somebody has to sit down, take a step back, and there's look, this monster problem has to be solved in a way that makes it accessible for everyone, democratizing for everyone, and you don't have to leave your town, your country, your place, and you still sit there and make it work. And I think when it dawned on us, I said, look, you got to create a model that ensures that anyone who's thinking of starting a company should be able to get access to leading advice, sitting anywhere, democratizing it, simply affordable, actually, from world's best advisors, mentors, sitting across the globe.
Where do you think, and this is my absolute final, I like it as a single sentence, where do you think you are with your growth story? There will be a time when your library, your curation, the kind of people that you have, your mentors, will all be perfect, almost as good as you want. Where are you right now?
I think we have a journey to go, actually, and we're very critical of ourselves, so I don't think we'll ever be perfect. Actually. We'll keep innovating. I mean,
when will you be semi-satisfied?
So our mission is looking at the global nature of startup failure, and statistics says 85%.
Right.
Our mission is that when we are able to see that these statistics are bringing down, instead of 80% of startups are failing.
Oh, okay, I thought you were going to say when you reverse it, when it's 85 successful and 15 only
we want to
fail.
bring it down to 0.
0. Okay, all right.
That's
So,
right, yeah.
On that note, I'm going to say thank you so much. It seems like a great plan.
Thank you
like
very much.
A great movement forward, and we wish you the best of luck. So that seems to be a great way to wrap up the show for today, when all across the world, every single startup will have a failure rate of 0. We'll see you next week right here on The Contrarian.
I am the contrarian. And this